And like always, take care of your own body. We're going to go into some deeper twists today. And, it can be, how's it, Jeroen? It can be quite strong, on the lower back, on the digestive area, in the spine. And it can release a lot of emotion also for a lot of us. Everything that kind of happens, in our mental space often gets stuck in the body, and the twists are a great way to release emotional stuff that's in the body. But, you might sometimes people even feel a bit of nausea or whatever. So, just go slowly, and there'll be spaces in between where you can just let it process. And, I've done this sequence a few times this week as I was creating it, and the after effect, I think, is quite like light, but there's an intensity about it as you go through it. So I think we can all agree that 2020 has stripped away the facade. It's definitely taken away our focus from anything that's not completely essential. And it's kind of given us the opportunity to really reflect on what is important to us. And I think those of you that have experienced past trauma will know that when you go through a traumatic phase in your life, which is kind of what we've all gone through this year or are going through, maybe some of us are still in the middle of it, but when you go through this kind of turbulence or trauma, they're choices on how to deal with it. And one choice is to kind of become more unconscious and kind of avoid the inner work that needs to be done. And the other choice is really to, like Corey just beautifully explained, those of you that were there, to stand in the wind or in the fire and just letting it come and letting it transform us. And so, when we faced with our own mortality and we faced with the mortality of our loved ones, we really get an opportunity to see what is most important to us, what is aligned with our soul purpose. And I think this theme is going to continue going forward into 2021. The energy is definitely shifting from an astrological point of view. And it's not good or bad. It's just going to be very different, and it depends on, again, how our perspective is. So if we face it in a way that it's going to transform us and really almost create like a simplicity in our lives where we streamline our consciousness, then everything can be quite positive when we do that, because there's less clutter and less space for things that take us off our soul purpose or off our center. And so really what I'm feeling is, and what a lot of messages that are coming from other people that are also connected, and I'm sure all of you are feeling it as well, to really cultivate the relationships that are in alignment with where you are at, and to really bring into your life the activities and to follow, the things in your life that really are in alignment with your soul purpose, and kind of clearing out, maybe and this is not necessarily a negative thing, but just kind of making space and decluttering with the people and the things that are taking up space in your life that are not in alignment with your soul purpose. So, then there's much more energy and space to follow, that alignment with your own heart space. So we're going to use the twists today in a very real, visceral way to kind of clear the physical body, so that there's also more space in the inner body and more space for us to align ourselves. Morning, Ilanya. So we're going to start seated. I would suggest for the beginning of the class to, if you have the space, to bring your mat in the same orientation as mine. It's going to be easier to follow for the beginning. So in other words, just so that your mat is lengthwise, and when you're facing the camera, that you are in the center of your mat here. So that orientation will work quite well. Have a block handy. Those of you that have any knee issues, what I would suggest is whenever you're flexing the knee quite strongly, to either bring a belt behind the knee or a scarf behind the knee whenever there's knee flexion. That's recommended. Roll a blanket so that you just have one handy. Some of you might want to use your blanket when we come into the seat. And then when you've got all your props ready, everybody come and sit on one block. If you find that your hips are quite tight and your hip flexors are quite tight, then I would suggest that you sit on 2 blocks. But let's all start on 1 block. And come and sit in Upavishta Konasana with your legs wide out to the side. And then once you found your seat, take your hands, and we'll do it one at a time, but you want to take hold of your back groins and pull the back groins out to the side. And then take hold of your sitting bones, again with your fingers like this, and draw the buttock flesh backwards so that you can expose the knuckles of your sitting bones so that you get a very firm foundation downward. And then stay seated in this Upavishta Konasana and let your inner groins descend down to the earth. Let your upper buttock area descend down to the earth. And then extend from your inner groin area to your inner heel area. And make sure that your toes are facing directly upward, front thighs to back thighs. And take your right hand, I'm mirroring you, behind your right knee, and then draw that right leg in and take the top of the foot with your left hand and turn the sole of the foot to face upward. And then do the same thing with your left leg. So you take the fingers behind the knee, that creates space, and then take the top of your foot and turn the sole of the foot upward. So align the heels so that they're in front of your pubic bone. And those of you that can't get the knees down, let's say you're seated on 2 blocks, you might want to take your blanket and just fix the blanket underneath your shin bones so that your shin bones are completely rested and so that your knees can also rest down. And then if you need to at any point adjust your buttock flesh, please do so. Again, let your inner groin settle down, let your upper buttock area settle down, and extend from your inner groins to your inner knees. And we're going to start with awakening the energy before we sit and chant an Om. So from here, reach your arms forward and then interlock your right index finger above your left index finger, interlock right at the web of your fingers and invert your palms, push your palms of your hands away from you. Hug your outer upper arm area in to the center line. And then from there, take your arms up and over your head and extend your spine. Lift your spine up. So I'm going to come a little closer to the camera to show you the actions. So the upper buttock area, let it descend down. So that's kind of your anchor. And then you've all heard me speak a lot about this tailbone, pubic bone connection. So you want to draw your tailbone in and forward to your pubic bone. Draw the bottom of your pubic bone back towards your tailbone. So essentially you're creating mula bandha at the base of your spine. So it's a coming together in the pelvic floor area of your tailbone and your pubic bone, that coming together. And then the energy lifts from the pelvic floor up. And then take your sacral area here and draw your sacrum and your lower abdominal area above your pubic bone. Draw that in and up. So you draw it in towards each other and you lift it up. And that's Uddiyana Bandha for those of you that have studied the bandhas. And now take your front ribs and your back ribs and your side ribs and lift up. So you're creating maximum space in your body, which is what you want when you are coming into twists. And then from there, first of all, keep the outer upper arms rolling forward. I know it's getting strong. Make space in your body. And then from there, look up. So you open your throat, drop the tops of your shoulders down your back, away from your neck. And now from there, bring your head forward again and drop your chin to your chest. And now you've got Jalandhara Bandha as well. And lift your arms up and back. And then from there, bring your head to face forward. And on the next exhalation, slowly release your arms. I know it's quite a relief. And then come and sit with your hands either facing down. So you can choose what works for your body. You can either face your palms down, or you can face your palms up. If you feel you need to ground, then take your hands down. If you feel that you need to lift your energy, then turn your palms up. And just softly close your eyes for a moment and just feeling that energy shift just by doing that simple movement. And then softly open your eyes. And now again, stretch your legs out into Upavishta Konasana. So once again, you can just refix it. Take your one hand behind the thigh and just roll the back groins out. And then do it with the other hand, back groins out. And then take your sitting bone area of your buttocks and draw it backwards. So you're seated on your sitting bones. So it's like you're really spreading the pelvic floor wide and broad. And then take your left hand behind your left knee. And now turn the sole of the foot to face upward. And then do the same thing with your right leg. Right hand behind the right knee. Turn the sole of the foot up. Check that your heels are in front of your pubic bone. And then once again, we're going to do that same action. So just to create that inner space, reach your arms forward. Take your left index finger above your right index finger. Invert your palms. Hug your outer upper arm area into your center line. And then from there, take your arms up and over your head. And once again, these are the actions we're going to work with throughout the whole of the practice today. And even if I'm not saying it, you want to think of that. So this upper buttock area, draw it down. Tailbone, draw it towards your pubic bone. Bottom of your pubic bone, draw it towards your tailbone. So you create a bowl in your pelvis. This is the bowl of the kunda. And then from there, lift your pelvic floor up. So that action will automatically lift your pelvic floor. And now you want to raise that energy more up the spine. So take your sacrum, draw it in and up. Take your lower abdominal area, draw it in and up. Lift the energy up to underneath your rib cage. And then lift your front ribs, lift your back ribs, lift your side ribs up. So you get this internal lift. It's really working on the inner body. Keep your outer upper arm area drawing forward, hugging your outer upper arms in. And then once again, look up and drop the tops of your shoulders down your back. And then look forward and drop your chin down to your chest for Jalandhara Bandha. Lift your arms up and back. And then from there, look forward once again. And on the exhalation, release your arms in a half circle. And then bring your palms of your hands now to touch in front of your heart. And softly close your eyes. See, can you feel that inner lift, that inner spaciousness? Just allowing your breath to move in its own natural flow. And we'll tune in with one chant of Om. Exhale completely. Inhale deeply. Bow your head to your heart. Let's take a moment here to make your own internal acknowledgements. And then release the backs of your hands onto your thighs. Softly let your eyes open. And then raise your head back up. And once again, open your legs out wide to the side in Upavishta Konasana. Stretch your legs out. Make space behind your knees. And then from there, bring your legs forward into Dandasana. And come up to standing in the center of your mat. Just clear your props off your mat. And come and stand in Tadasana with your feet together. Let your big toes touch. Let your inner ankles touch. And root down through all four corners of your feet. So your ball of your big toe, little toe, inside and outside of your heel, root down. Then reach your arms forward and interlock again, your right index finger above your left. Invert your palms, push your palms away from you, hug your outer upper arm area in, and then take your arms up and over your head. So stand down through your feet and lift the energy up your spine. And here it comes again. So we're going to keep cultivating this. Upper buttocks down, tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone. Bring the sacrum in and up, bring the lower abdomen in and up, lift the energy up, lift the front of your ribs, back of your ribs, side of your ribs up. And then from there, look up to the sky, drop your shoulders down, away from your neck. And then from there, look forward, drop your chin down, come back to the center with your head. And now stand into that left foot firmly and bring your left ribs forward and lean your body over to your right side. So you open up the left side of your body, look down to the earth, breathe into the left side ribs. Inhale, come back up, stand into your right foot, and now bring your right ribs forward and lean your body over to your left side and look down to the earth. Keep the arms extended and straight. Yeah, nice. And then inhale, come back up. And exhale, large circle to release your arms. And again, just feel that subtle energy shift as you make more space. Now, once again, reach your arms forward. Take your left index finger above your right, invert your palms, hug your outer upper arm area in, stand down through your feet, and then inhale, lift your arms up and back. So once again, come to that upper buttock area, descend it down to the earth, tailbone, pubic bone, draw them in towards each other. Sacrum, lower abdomen, draw it in and up. And now maximum lift up your front ribs, your back ribs, your side ribs. Make maximum space in your body. Look up to the sky, drop your shoulders down your back. Keep the lower front ribs in. Look forward, look down, Jalandhara Bandha. Drop your head completely. Keep your arms up and back. And then again, come back to the center. And once again, stand into, don't drop your hands yet. Somebody took their hands down. Keep your arms up. And then stand into that left foot. And again, come over to your right side. Bring your left ribs forward. Open up space. Sometimes these simple postures are the most profound. Breathe into your left side body. Yes, beautiful. And then inhale, come back up to the center, reach up maximum. And now over to your left side, bring your right ribs forward, look down to the floor, breathe into the right side body. Maximum space, very good. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, release your arms beside your body. Okay, awesome, everybody. Just stand for a moment and watch the screen. So we're going to go into, we're starting with a bang today. We're going to go into Parshvakonasana, which essentially is an open twist. Some of you might need your blocks, and in that case, you'll have your blocks in front of you. And some of you might need a belt, so have a belt handy in front of your right side of your mat, and then first just observe. So we're going to come into a bound Parsvakonasana. We're going to do it twice, so you'll have an opportunity to really get into it. For the moment, just stand and watch. If you can't see from where you are, come closer to your screen. And this is how it's going to look. I'll give you instructions when we're in there, but I just want you to show you how we're going to do the posture. The hand is going to come to the inside today. So if you can't get your hand down, you'll use a block. Okay, and for those of you who feel that the bind is too much, you will just come back to this position and you'll take your arm up and over, but the hand is on the inside. Those of you taking a bind, you will be doing this. So your left arm is going to be up. You'll be bending this elbow first and then taking the right arm underneath. And see, I can use my hands here to draw this right outer thigh towards the left inner thigh to get that action there. And if you can't get your bind, your belt will be there. And in that case, you'll take the belt in your top hand and you can use your belt to find your bind. Okay. And then from the bind, we'll just come straight up into Vira 2, and then we'll go from there to the other side. Okay. So if you're using props, bring your blocks in front of you on both sides of your mat, and your belt would be on your right side if you're using one. And then come and stand in the center of your mat, feet together. Remember, if you have any lower back stuff going on, it's not such a good idea to jump. Then you can rather step. Bend your knees, fingertips to touch. So already get the tailbone, pubic bone connection, that lifting of the sacral lower abdominal area, and then jump your feet apart. So turn your left toes in, press into the right heel, so you're not moving that heel at all, and just turn the leg up. So you'll find that your stance comes longer. So that'll determine how far you jump each time. And now bend that right knee above the ankle. Draw this outer right hip towards your left inner thigh. We spoke about this extensively a while back. So your hip bones, your frontal hip bones are like two headlights. They are following that right leg. But keep the connection into the outer edge, the little toe side of that left foot. So this inner thigh on the left side must push back to the outer thigh. That keeps this hip bone from dropping down. So even though you're turning the hips, you don't want this hip bone to drop down. You want to keep this leg firm. Arms out to the side if they're not there at the moment. And then take your right hand on the inside of this right foot, either on the floor or on a block. Take your left arm up. So those of you not going for a bind because of your shoulders or your elbows or whatever, you can take the arm up and over. Everybody else, you're going to bend now your left elbow and take the left hand behind your buttock, your right buttock. Bring your right arm underneath and take the hands together. Or if you can't get it clasped, you're going to take your belt into your left hand and you'll come into your bind like that. So draw that outer right hip towards your left inner thigh and root down the outer edge of your left foot. And now bring in the actions we've been working with. Tailbone, pubic bone, connected. Lift Mula Bandha up. Sacrum, lower abdomen, lifted up. So you keep moving in the direction of the crown of your head. Lift your rib cage up towards your head. Lengthen your neck and spiral the whole cylinder of your trunk open to the sky. Beautiful, everyone. That's it. Hello, Joel. Inhale. Slowly come up. Square your feet. Okay, I think everyone's awake now. We are going to do this twice. So in the second round will be less bum cramping and all that stuff. Okay, keep your arms out to the side. Now you also know if you need props or not. Turn your right toes in. Press into the left heel. And you're going to turn that leg out. So it makes the stance a little bit longer. That determines on how far you normally would jump. It's a different way of doing it. Raya brought it back from India. It's like keep on changing these things, but this is quite a good way. I quite like it. And then reach your arms out to the side and now bend your left knee directly above the ankle. So you're keeping this outer left thigh drawing towards your right inner thigh. Your frontal hip bones are following your left leg, but you don't want to drop this right hip down. So you're keeping this right leg firm, inner thigh to outer thigh, root down through the little toe side of that right foot. And then from there, bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot, either on a block or on the floor. Right arm reaches up. And then from there, those of you going into a bind, you're going to bend your right elbow, take the hand behind your left buttock, take your left arm underneath, catch the hands together or your belt, and draw that left outer hip towards your right inner thigh. Those of you not taking the bind, you'll take your right arm up and over. So you want to get all those actions again. Tailbone, pubic bone connection. Find Mula Bandha. Lift your pelvic floor towards your crown of your head. Lower abdomen sacrum, bring it in and up and lift the spine to your head. Take your rib cage, lift it towards the crown of your head, and then spiral the whole cylinder of your trunk open up to the sky. Lean back a little bit, Craig. Yes, into the back plane of your body. And then from there, inhale, come up through warrior two. Square your feet and jump your feet together and just stand for a moment in Tadasana. Okay, so we're going to repeat that sequence. Is everybody okay? Okay, it's like quite a strong awakening. Okay, second round, you know what's coming. And you want to prevent yourself from dumping into the front leg. So keep the outer edge of that other foot rooted. That's a very important action. You want to make it light. And essentially what we're doing now, we're going to go into closed twisting very soon. Right now we're doing open twisting. So really letting your body cultivate that openness. So feet together, fingertips to touch, bend your knees, and then jump your feet apart. So also now you kind of have an idea of how far you want to jump because of the turning of the feet. Turn your left toes in, press into the right heel, turn the right leg, the whole femur bone out. Bend your right knee above the ankle. Take the outer right hip towards your left inner thigh. Keep the outer edge of that left foot rooted. Bring your right hand on the inside of your right foot. Take your left arm up. Those of you staying here, you'll just take that arm over. Otherwise, you're going to come into a bind. Bend your left elbow first. Take the hand behind your sitting bone. Then bend your right elbow. Take the hands together. So watch that you're not dumping into this right leg. Push back into that left outer foot. And now, again, tailbone, pubic bone, connect. Lift along the spine. Lower abdomen sacrum, lift it up. Lengthen your spine. Lift the whole of your rib cage towards your head. Lengthen your neck, spiral your whole cylinder of your trunk open. And Lillian, also lean back a little bit. So some of you need to go back into the back plane of your body. Yeah, Ilona also, that's it. One more breath, make it light, open space. And then inhale, come through warrior two, very slowly open up, square your feet. Very nice, everyone. Okay, left side. Turn your right toes in. And then turn your whole left leg out. So you press into the heel, turn in the femur bone in the hip socket. Bend that left knee above the ankle. Take the outer left hip towards your right inner thigh and root down through the outer edge, the little toe side of that right foot. So that's still the brain of your posture. The more you push there, the lighter the posture is going to become. And then from there, headlights following that left leg, this right hip lifted, bring your left hand down. Reach your right arm up. Keep pushing into the outer edge of that right foot. And then from there, bending your left elbow, your right elbow first, then bend your left elbow. Catch your hands behind that left sitting bone and draw the outer left hip towards your right inner thigh. Again, keeping the rooting of that outer right foot down, that little toe side of the foot. And now, pelvic floor lift, so tailbone, pubic bone connect. Uddiyana Bandha, Bring your sacrum, lower abdomen in and up. Lengthen the spine more. Lift your whole of your rib cage towards your head. Lengthen more. And then from there, spiral the whole cylinder of your trunk open to the sky. Lengthen your neck. Keep that extension. And then from there, inhale, come through warrior two, come out, square your feet, and jump your feet together again. Very nice, everybody. Okay, so we're starting to create the heat that's creating the release of all this residual tension we've built over this last year. So whatever comes up, just see it as a release, but be careful. Listen to your body at the same time. So now what I would suggest is, if it's possible and you have the space, that for the rest of the sequence, that you turn your mat to face this way, so that you are head on with the camera. It's going to be easier for you to follow. I'm going to stay in this orientation so the demonstration is clear. But if you are able to turn your mat like this purple one, then that's going to be easier for you to follow. And once you've taken your mat in the right position, come and stand at the front of your mat. And just observe. So we're going to work with Utkatasana. Have a block close by, because some of you might, for the second round, need a block. So just have it handy. So we're going to go into different twists in Utkatasana. And you can stay either with the first variation, or when we go into the second round, I'm going to give you a slightly deeper variation as well. So I just want to let somebody in. So just observe. So first one, you're going to bend your knees coming into Utkatasana. Palms of your hands are going to be together. Just watch for now. And then I'm going to mirror you. You're going to take this left elbow deep over the outside of that right thigh. So if you find you can't get the back of the upper arm over the thigh, then you, with all of the twists we do today, you can use the hand on that side. So in other words, using your right hand to just make a little bit of space to get it deeper in, so that you can get the upper arm over the thigh, palms of the hands together. Okay, that'll be the first round. Second round, you'll go into it in the same manner. You either take the first variation, or you're going to take a variation where you're going to open the arm. So back of this upper arm, hooking it deep over, and then opening up. So those of you not going into deep twists today, if let's say you have your moon flow and you've got to keep space here, let's just work on your Utkatasana and the internal lift. Okay. So come and stand with your feet together. Bend your knees. Take your arms up into Utkatasana. And then from there, attempt to take the back of this left upper arm over the outside of the right thigh. You can use your right hand on the outside, hook the upper arm over, palms of your hands stacked on top of each other. So take your right hand on top of your left hand, push into that left elbow, draw your outer left hip back to square your hips, lengthen your spine as you inhale, and then on the exhalation, push with that left elbow on the outside of the right thigh and turn your torso to your right side. Inhale, reach your arms up, come to stand in Urdhva Hastasana or Urdhva Namaskar, and then just pause for a moment. So you're looking at the subtle shifts and changes that happen in the energetic body. Remember, yoga is all about creating differential pressures. Ha is high pressure, ta is low pressure. So that's what we're working with. Bend your knees, inhale, Utkatasana. Now we're going to go for the left side. So take the back of this right upper arm and hook it over the outside of the left thigh. Take your left hand, pull that thigh out the way, palms of your hands together, left hand on top of your right hand, and turn and twist to your left side. Draw your right hip back, so you square your hips. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And then on the exhalation, push with that right elbow to the outside of the left thigh and turn your torso towards your left side. I know thigh bones, eh? Inhale, come back to the center, reach your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana or Namaskar if you can, with your hands together. Relax your arms, come to stand in Tadasana. So again, simple shift in the energetic field. So we're working with these high pressures, low pressures to clean the body, to make space. Okay, last one. We're going to come into the open arms for those of you that feel to go further. Otherwise, if this was quite challenging, you'll just stay with your elbows bent. Okay, inhale, Utkatasana. Find that lift in the spine. Exhale, twist to your right side. Take your right hand. Move that thigh out the way. Get the back of this left upper arm over the thigh. And then this time you're going to open your hands. You might need a block on your right side if you can't get that left hand down. And then from there, again, draw your left hip back. Lengthen your spine as you inhale. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Open up. Exhale, push with the back of your left upper arm against that outer right thigh. And now spiral your abdomen, your chest, and your gaze up to the sky on the right side. Inhale, come back to the center. Reach your arms up. And just stand in Tadasana. Take a moment. So again, you can just feel how the yoga works. It's cleaning out the body. Last round on the other side. Inhale, come back into Utkatasana. Reach your arms up, make maximum space. And then from there, twist to your left side. Take your left hand on the outside of the thigh. Work this right upper arm over that left thigh. And those of you that are going for the second variation, you'll open the arms up. Draw your right hip back. Lengthen your spine. So you want to find space in the vertebra before you turn. Then use the back of your right upper arm against that outer left thigh to turn your abdomen, your chest, your gaze to the left side and up. Very nice, everyone. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, come to stand in Tadasana. So it's like you just feel the residue of cleaning and purging the body, which in a way cleans also the inner energy. So we're going to go into deeper twists in a moment, but let's first come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. So come onto your hands and your knees. You'll be facing the screen if you're in the right orientation, and then tuck your toes under. Keep your thighs perpendicular to the floor, your hands 45 degrees in front of your shoulders. Now, if you hyperextend your elbows, then take the web between your index finger and your middle finger and face that forward. If your shoulders are very stiff, take your index fingers and face them forward. And then from there, come into your dog stretch, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Make it a slightly longer dog stretch so that you've got to work to get your heels down. Those of you that have tight hamstrings, come onto the balls of your feet and rather work on lifting the buttock bones. So externally rotate your upper arms, roll your inner upper arms up and out, and hug your outer upper arms in. We worked with that quite a lot the last few weeks. And then from here now, focus again on those actions. So draw your tailbone and your pubic bone in towards each other. Get Mula Bandha and lift your pelvic floor. And then draw your sacrum and your lower abdomen in towards each other and along your spine in the direction of your rib cage. And now draw your rib cage, your front, your back, and your side ribs towards the crown of your head and lengthen the crown of your head towards the earth. So you make maximum space in your body. And then Joel, we here. Now everybody come into Adho Mukha Virasana, big toes together, knees apart. Let your forehead rest onto the earth. And then roll up and come to seated on your heels. So if you can see from where you are easily on your screen, then you can stay there. Otherwise, maybe come closer. I want to give you the option between the postures that we're doing now. Once we've done both sides of a posture, as we go through them, you can have a choice of either making it dynamic. If you want to put a little vinyasa in between, you can do that. You can just go, we'll all go to dog stretch after each posture, and then you can come into a flow of your choice if you want to. Otherwise, those of you with shoulder niggles, or you just feel you want to preserve your energy, you can come and rest in between in Adho Mukha Virasana. So that'll be between each, when we've done both sides of a posture. So we're going to go into a deeper twist now. We'll stay in the lunge variation of it, and it will look like this. So you're going to step your right foot forward. If your left knee is, your knees are sensitive, take a blanket under the back knee, keeping the toes tucked under. That's going to keep the hamstring engaged, and we'll come up. So all of those actions to get the lift, most importantly. And now, just like we did in Utkatasana, the first one, you're going to take the elbow over. And again, here's the hand. You can use your hand to get the back of the upper arm eventually over. Because the deeper you go, the deeper you're going to bring the twist into your upper back body. So first round here, you can either stay with the knee down. Those of you wanting to go further, you'll straighten the back leg. Second round, same as what we did with Utkatasana. Those of you that would like to, you can bring the hand down. Now, if you can't get the hand down, you can use a block on the outside of the foot. So I've got long monkey arms. It's the only reason why I can get it down, okay? And then from there, this is going to be the variation. So the left heel and the right fingers are going to stretch away from each other to help get the length in the spine in the second variation. Okay, so it will look like that. And we're not going to bring the foot down for today. Okay, so come into your dog stretch. Take a moment here to, again, just get the length in your, sorry, everybody, just drop down again. I forgot to show. So those of you that are dealing with lower back sensitivity, or hip flexor sensitivity, if you are going into this twist and all the twists going forward, what I would suggest is a thin blanket into this hip crease area. Hopefully those of you with hip flexor things have got your hip belts on as well. So this is going to help this abdomen go back, which creates the space in the hip flexor area as well. So using that to assist you. Those of you that are menstruating, or you just feel you don't want to go into deep twists, you can take your blocks and you'll just stay in a lunge. Okay, so I forgot to show you that. So take the variation that works for you. Okay, come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Focus on that length in your spine. And then from there, step your right foot forward. Drop your left knee down. Use a blanket if you're sensitive under the left knee. Keep the toes tucked under. So those of you not twisting, you're just going to work on opening up your hip flexors and you can use your blocks. Those of you that need your blanket, you're going to take it over this right thigh. So in the pit of the thigh here. And then come and stand with your hands on your hips and lift your spine up. So all of those actions creating the inner space. Reach your left arm up. And now take the back of your left upper arm and you're going to aim to bring that over the right thigh. Take your right hand on the outside of this right thigh and take some time to work it down a little bit. First round, you're just going to stack the hands on top of each other. So right hand on top of left hand. Push the elbow, left elbow down. Those of you wanting to go further, you'll straighten your left leg out. So compact your outer hips to find your balance here. Lengthen your spine from your pelvic floor through the crown of your head. Make all of that space. Draw your right hip back. And now push with the outside of that left upper arm against that outer right thigh and spiral your abdomen, your chest, and your head to your right side. Very nice stability, everyone. And then from there, slowly release, hands down, come back into your dog stretch and just find that evenness of your spine. So there's a neutrality that comes. And then we're going to go for the left side. So from here, step your left foot forward, drop your right knee down, use a blanket under the right knee if it's sensitive. Keep the toes tucked under. That's going to give you control of this hamstring. Then it's much easier to balance. Hands onto your hips. So again, some of you are just going to stay in the lunge. Those of you needing your blanket, it will come over your left front thigh. So it's to create space in that hip flexor area and to keep the abdomen back. And then from there, reach your right arm up. Take your left hand on the outside of this left thigh. And now take the back of your right upper arm and bring it over the outside of that left thigh. Take it low down. And then bring your palms of your hands on top of one another. Push down with that left hand on the right palm. And those of you going further, you'll stretch that right leg out. Front thigh to back thigh, extend into the heel. So focus on the length of your spine first. Draw that outer left hip back. And now spiral, as you push that right upper arm against the outer left thigh, spiral your abdomen, your chest, and your head to your left side. Very nice. Focus, everyone. And then from there, slowly come down, hands onto the floor, and step back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So here is where you have a choice. You can either take a little rest in Adho Mukha Virasana, or you can come into a flow. Make sure you keep that sacrum lower abdominal connection, so you're not hanging in your lower back in the up dog. So you can choose if you want to make it dynamic or more restful. Nice, Ilonya. Beautiful. Very nice concentration. And then from there, we'll meet in dog stretch once again in Adho Mukha Svanasana. So you want to find that spinal neutrality. And just before we go into the second round, because I know the heat is building, okay, and stuff might come up, remember that you're doing this as a physical clearing. It's very good to get the toxins out the body. And you're doing this also as an energetic clearing, so that you're really creating space for more of what is aligned with your soul purpose to come into your life. So when we work physically, we're also working energetically. And then step your right foot forward, drop your left knee down. So now you know what props you're using. And those of you that know that your arms are a little shorter and you need some support, you can have a block on the outside of your right foot if you're going to come into the full variation, or you might just stay with the first variation. Let's see how it goes. Remember your blanket if you're using one, or you're just staying in a lunge. Inhale, reach your left arm up. So right hand on the outside of this right thigh. Take the back of your left upper arm and hook it deeply over. So work it a little bit. Keep going, work it down. Get the hand to rest. Your left hand on the floor or on your block. Right arm, reach it up. And then from there, straighten that left leg. And now, those of you going for the full posture, this is how you're going to get the spinal extension. Take your right arm up and over your ear. Turn the little finger side of the hand down. Stretch your right fingers and your left heel away from each other. Lengthen your spine. And then from there, use the left upper arm against that outer right thigh and spiral your body open to your right side. So you massaging your inner body, you opening up the spine. Take one more breath there. Make sure the upper arm is over the thigh. Nice, that's it, Kari. Bring your arm towards the screen. Your top arm. Yes, more. Lengthen. Yes, that's it. And then from there, everybody release. Dog stretch. Take time to just feel it. Just stay in dog stretch for now. So no vinyasa. Just feel it out. Come to neutrality. Feel what's coming up for you. Know that you're clearing your energy. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Okay, left side. Step your left foot forward. Drop your right knee down. Use whatever support you need. Blanket over the thigh if you're using it. Or you staying in a lunge if you did it on the other side. Now, from here, reach your right arm up. Take your left hand to the outside of this left thigh. Take the back of that right upper arm over. So here you've got to work it a little bit. You've got to kind of palpate to get it deeper in. Then you bring the right hand down, either on the floor or on your block. Left arm up. Then straighten that right leg out if you did it on the other side. And now the left arm comes up and over your head. Stretch the left hand, the left fingers, and that right heel away from each other. Make maximum space in your spine. That's it. And then you use the back of that right upper arm on the outside of the left thigh. Make sure that that's connecting. And turn the whole cylinder of your trunk over to your left side and up. That's it, guys. Very nice. Carmilla. Yeah, that's it. Nice, guys. Okay, and then from there, slowly bring your hands down. Nice, Devi. Step back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a moment in neutrality. Some of you might want to rest in Adho Mukha Virasana and just integrate. Some of you might feel that you want to flow it out. So we've all got different ways of processing. Do whatever feels appropriate for you in your body. And then we'll all meet in Adho Mukha Virasana. So take a moment to just become quiet, to just integrate and just feel what's happening inside you. And then from there, come back up. And come on to seated on your heels. So you can either sit where you are, if you can easily see your screen, or you can come closer to the camera. Most of you know this posture. We're going to create a little bit more space again in the spine before we come into our final twist. It's not over until the fat lady sings. Okay, so there's a little bit more. But and hopefully with the second opening in the spine, you'll find that the twist will come easier. So I'm showing you from the back side. Some of you have a block handy and have a belt handy. Some of you might need that. Some of you might need 2 blocks. You'll see how you go. So if you look from the back side, we're going to come into Gomukhasana. So the right knee will step to the center line, left knee behind the right knee, and then opening up the feet, and you're going to sit in between your heels. If you can sit on the floor, good and well. Otherwise, you're going to take a block under your buttocks or 2 blocks, whatever it is that you need. The arm position we'll do together, so just have your block handy. So your right knee steps to the center. Let's do it together. Left knee behind your right knee. Open up your feet, and then come and sit in between your heels. Use whatever support you need. And take time to find both of your sitting bones rooting down. If this position feels not appropriate for your hips today, please just come into a cross-legged position where your right leg is crossed in front of your left leg. Okay, so do what feels appropriate for your body. And just letting it settle down. So from here, reach your arms forward. Bring your right index finger above your left. Interlock right at the web of your fingers. And then invert your palms and take your arms up and over. I just want to let someone in. So lift again and lengthen your spine. So you want to come back to all those actions that we did in the beginning. Tailbone, pubic bone, connect. Lift your pelvic floor up. So yeah, a lower abdominal area, sacral area, in and up. Lift the rib cage up, front ribs, back ribs, side ribs, lift it up. Look up, drop your shoulders down. Look forward, drop your head down, lift your chest up. Come back to the center. And then release your arms. So you're going to stay in this position. Some of you might need your belt. I'm going to show from the back side. So you're going to take your, if this arm position doesn't work for you, you can just hold on to your opposite elbows. Otherwise, take your right arm out to the side, turn the right palm to face behind you, bend the elbow and bring your right hand behind your back, and then take your left hand and bring this right elbow in. If you can't reach the elbow, you can also use the forearm, but draw your arm in so that you can bring the hand higher up your back. Some of you might need your belt in your left hand, and then we'll take the left arm back. Turn the little finger side of your hand forward, your thumb backwards. Draw the arm as far back as you can, and then bend the elbow and take your hands together. If you can't get the hands together, there's your belt. And then lift your left elbow up and back. Draw your right elbow down and back. And create maximum space in your spinal cord as you lift up. So sometimes we tend to shorten the right side. Notice if that's happening. And then bring your left side ribs in to create a little bit more space on the right side. With that right shoulder and that right hip back. Yeah, very good. And then from there, exhale, release your arms. And then release your legs and come to stand on your hands and your knees. So now you'll take your left knee to the center, right knee behind your left knee, open up your feet and come to sit in between your heels, either on your block or on the floor, whatever works for your body. Those of you crossing your legs, your left leg will now be crossed in front of your right leg. Take some time for your seat to settle down. Make sure you're evenly seated on both your sitting bones. And then bring your arms forward. Take your left index finger above your right index finger. Invert your palms. Hug your outer upper arm area in. Take your arms up and back. Hug your outer upper arms forward. Lift your spine up. So once again, to create that inner space. So your hands are interlocked like that. Yeah. And then from there, take your tailbone and your pubic bone towards each other. Sacrum, lower abdomen in and up. Lift your rib cage up. So front ribs, back ribs, side ribs. And then look up for a moment. Drop your shoulders down. Look forward. And then drop your head down, but take your arms back and up. Then come back to neutral. Look forward. Exhale, release your arms. So now coming into the arm position. So those of you that didn't take the full arm position, you'll just take the other elbow on top. Otherwise, have your belt close by. And then take your left arm now out to the side. Turn the thumb down. So you internally rotate the forearm. And then bring your left hand behind your back, palm facing away from you. Use your right hand to draw that elbow into the center line, or that forearm, whatever you can reach, and bring that hand higher up your back. And then from there, take your right arm up, turn the little finger side of the hand forward, the thumb back, draw the arm as far back as you can, catch your hands together, or you use your belt into that right hand. And then lift your right elbow up and back, left elbow down and back. Find the space in your spine, lifting, lengthening, expanding. And then just notice if you're shortening your left side, bring your right side ribs in a little bit. Draw that left hip back, that left shoulder back a tiny bit. And then from there, release your arms. And release your legs to come stand on your hands and your knees. And come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. So neutral spine, just stretching everything out. And here again, you have a choice. You're either going to rest in Adho Mukha Virasana, or if you feel you would like to take a vinyasa, then please go for that. So do whatever nourishes you right now. And then we'll meet back in Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then from there, again, just come to seated on your heels and have a look towards the screen. So we're going to do Ardha Matsyendrasana. These are actually variations because the full Gomukhasana is more of a balancing postures, and the full Ardha Matsyendrasana also, but it takes quite a lot of time to go through all of them. So we'll just stay with the preparations for today. But we're going to do Ardha Matsyendrasana twice and just have a look. So those of you not wanting to go into this deeper twist, what you can do is just cross your right leg in front and fold forward. It might be that your spine has had enough of twisting, and obviously you can sit on some height if you would like to. You can also opt that instead of the leg position that we're going to take, that you're just going to twist like this in a cross-legged position. So be aware of where your body is. If you're menstruating, this is probably a better variation. Otherwise, I like to sit, not necessarily on a block, but the height that I like for this particular posture is actually one of these Iyengar foams, because that gives me enough lift in my spine. You can opt to sit flat if that works for you, or you can sit on one of your blocks, okay? It totally depends on you. I would turn this that way, lengthwise, so that I've got space. So just have a look. So from here, and we're gonna, again, we'll just go in it in a different way in a moment, but I just want to show you the posture. The left heel is going to come to the outside of the right hip. This right foot crossing over the outside of the left thigh. So see, we're going to take it back, far, far, far back, because the second round will come into a bind. The first round, we're just going to come into a regular twist. But the further you take this leg back, the easier it is to get the arm around for when you're going to bind the second round. So we'll sit here, we'll lift the spine up. Those of you that need it, if your arms are shorter and you can't get the right fingers down, you'll take some support behind you as well. First round, you're just going to bring the arm over. And again, here's the upper arm to that outer thigh connection. So you're taking it quite low down. Second round, those of you that want to come into the bind, you'll go lower down even, and then internally rotate the forearm, bring the hand behind you, and then grabbing the hands together. Those of you coming into the full bind, the wrapping arm is the grabbing arm. So it's kind of a rhyme that you can remember, okay? So that's what we're going to do. So from your Adho Mukha Svanasana, drop onto your knees and then come and sit on your heels. And then bring your legs out in front of you. So come into Dandasana. Later on, those of you taking a vinyasa for the second round, you can also jump to seated. And then come and sit on support if that's what you're taking, or flat on the floor if that's what you prefer. Just make sure that you're not rounding in your spine. So some of you will cross your legs, your right leg in front. Otherwise, you're going to bend your knees and then take this left heel to the outside of your right hip. Now step the right foot over the outside of your left thigh and bring this foot quite far back. The toes are facing forward. So you want to make it quite compact. Oh, those of you with hip flexor thingies, if you're going for the twist, remember your thin blanket, put it in here. Very important. And you might even want to fold it double. So that might mean you don't twist as deep, but you want to protect your hip flexors, and that goes for lower back as well. And then first just hold onto your shin bone and pull down on your shin bone to lift your spine up. Remember all of that space that we were creating. You want to feel that space in your spine so that there's space between your vertebrae when we come into this deep twist. Right fingers, bring it behind you. Reach your left arm up. So back of this left upper arm to the outside of the right thigh. So you can also then use your right hand first if you want to take the arm down a little bit more. Pull this left elbow down and then lift your spine up and turn to your right side. So first round, you'll just have a stop sign with this left hand, fingers facing up. Those of you in a cross-legged position will just be twisting to your right in the similar way, but it's more of an open twist. So stand down through your right foot to inhale and lift dynamically your spine up. And then on the exhalation, use the back of your left upper arm against that outer right thigh to turn your abdomen, to turn your chest, to turn your head to your right side. And you're making inner space physically, mentally, emotionally. And then from there, release. Stretch your legs out in front of you. And we'll come to the second side. Those of you crossing your legs, your left leg will be in front of your right leg. Otherwise, bending both your knees. And now taking your right foot to the outside of your left hip. So the knee is facing forward directly. Take this left foot and step it as high over the right thigh as you can. So you bring it high up towards the hip. So you make it compact and the left toe is facing forward. And then sit for a moment, pull down on this left shin bone to lift your spine up. So reminding yourself to first get all of the space in between your vertebrae before you come to twist your spine. And then from there, for a moment again, just bring your left fingers behind you. Turn your body to your left side. Reach this right arm up. Find the lift and the length there. And then you can use this left hand down on the outside of the left thigh to bring the right upper arm deep down. So initially, you're rounding here to get the upper arm fixed. Pull the right elbow down. Stretch the right fingers up. And then turn to your left side. Stand down through your left foot to lift up your spine, energize your spine. And then you pull with the back of that right upper arm against the outer left thigh to turn your abdomen, your chest, your head to your left side. Work with your breath in this way. Inhale to lift. Exhale to turn. Ilanya, maybe make that blanket thicker so that you really protect your hip. Yeah. Oh, the knee. Yes. Yeah. And then everybody else, exhale, release. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Stretch your legs out. Okay. Just pause for a moment. I don't know if anyone else is getting a knee niggle. I didn't mention it again. But always make sure with deep flexion of the knee, if you've got any niggles of the knee going on, that you either take a folded scarf or you take a thick fold of your blanket. The more sore your knee is, the more thick you make that behind the knee joint so that you keep space there to protect your knee. I don't know if anyone else is struggling with that. The same we do with the hip joint. It's just to keep space there. Okay, you've got a choice. You can either just stay in your dog stretch, or you can come into Adho Mukha Virasana, or you can take a flow, whatever feels appropriate for you. Just letting go of that twist, and then we're going to go for it again. So take a nice spacious flow. And then those of you wanting, you can jump forward to seated now. Those of you that are more in a vinyasa vibration, you can, yes, nice. Okay, good. Yeah. So coming to sit, and we're going to go in for the second round. So now you know what you're taking, whether it's a cross leg or whether you're coming into the full variation of the pose. Some of you are just going to stay with the elbow over, and some of you might be going for the bind down. So bend your knees. Take your left heel to the outside of your right hip. So the left knee facing forward. Right foot, cross it high over the left thigh. Hold on to your shin bone, pull it down, lift up. Those of you with cross legs, you can hold on to your knees and lift up your spine. Now, for a moment, bring your right fingers behind you. Turn your body to your right side. Reach your left arm up. So here is again that reminder of all that inner space. Then take your right hand to the outside of this right thigh. And now you can either choose to just bring the upper arm over, or those of you going for a bind, you've got to go even lower down and then internally rotate this forearm and bring the hands behind you. The wrapping hand is the grabbing hand of the other wrist. Once you've got your position, then again, stand down with that right foot. Inhale, lift your spine up. Exhale, use the back of that left upper arm against the outer right thigh to turn your body to your right side. Draw that right shoulder back. And then from there, slowly release. Good. Stretch your legs out. Remember, you're creating space physically, mentally, emotionally. This is like I like to call it inner house cleaning. You know, it's a nice clearing. Okay, last one, last side, and then we're going to slow things down. So again, and come and sit with your legs out in front of you. Those of you crossing the legs, left leg will be in front. Otherwise, bend your knees. Remember to take whatever support you need. Right heel, take it to the outside of your left hip. Cross this left foot over as high over as you can. And toes facing forward. Hold on to the shin bone. Pull the hands down to lift your spine up. And then bring your left fingers behind you. Already begin to turn your body to your left side. Reach your right arm up. Find that internal lift. And then take your left hand to the outside of this left thigh and bring the back of your right upper arm over. Those of you going to go for the bind, you've got to take it even lower down. And then it's an internal rotation of this arm to get the hands together. So you're coming from a rounded spine in this particular type of twist. You've got to lift up, stand through that left foot, lift your spine up, and then on the exhalation, you use the back of that right upper arm against the left thigh to turn, spiral around the central axis of your body. Drawing that left shoulder back. Very nice, everyone. And then from there, slowly release. Stretch your legs out and come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. So stay in your dog stretch for a few breaths and just find that spinal neutrality. Maximum space in your spine. And then you have a choice. You can either rest in Adho Mukha Virasana, or you can come again into your own vinyasa, your own little flow. See what your body needs right now. And just flowing with that. And we'll meet in dog stretch in a moment. Those of you that have tighter hamstrings, I would suggest taking your blocks to the front edge of your mat. And we'll all meet in dog stretch. Then from Adho Mukha Svanasana, walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana with your feet as wide as your sticky mat. Your hands either on your blocks or on the floor. But what's important here is the length of your spine. So if you find that your spine wants to round, then bend your knees and take your hands on height. If you can easily keep your legs straight and straighten your spine, then please go for that. And you can even walk your hands in. But make sure that you take care of the length of your spine first and foremost. The straightening of the legs is not that important right now. Those of you that are needing to clock off, Debbie, just have a quick look for this final pose. Everybody else stay there for a few more breaths. So Debbie, what I would suggest before you go into your Shavasana, just to come onto with two blocks, one on top of the other, into a Setu Bandha, just to create this space in the front body, and then lie down for your resting pose. Okay, just a little bit of space there. Everybody else, stay in your Uttanasana for just a tiny little bit longer and focus on the length of your spine. So those of you with tighter hamstrings, please bend your knees. Let your upper body relax and release down. Let your shoulders relax. Let your head relax. And then from there, bring your hands onto your hips. Broadly spread your abdomen back to your lower spine. Lift your chest and come up to standing. And stand with your feet together, coming to Tadasana. So we're going to end with quite a nice long Setu Bandha to make space in the front body, because we've really, kind of twisted and turned in this area, and we're going to give it some space. So observe the different variations. Those of you who feel that your lower back is feeling fantastic or it's stable, you are going to take your two blocks, I'll show you from closer by, together like that, upright under your sacral area and your tailbone area. The reason why we're using two blocks, and this came from Faik, who's one of the top Iyengar teachers in the world, he lives in Paris. But so he explained that otherwise the problem is if you just take one block, you're pushing into the sacrum and it's too much to just push in the middle of the sacrum all the time. You've got to support both sides of your sacrum, okay? If you want, especially if your sacral area is quite open, for a lot of women it is. So you want that double blocking. Those of you that feel your lower back is sensitive, you can choose. You're either going to take one block and see crosswise like that. So again, it's going to support the whole sacrum, or you can take two blocks crosswise. So it will look like this. First variation, your two blocks are going to come together under your sacrum and your tailbone area. So it's to the tailbone side of the sacrum. So you've got to feel here, let them be stable and together. That's the highest option. Second option would be two blocks on top of each other like that. Again, it's spread across the sacrum to the tailbone side. Or sensitive lower back, it'll just be one block crosswise. Finally, we'll all end up on just one block. Okay, so come and lie down with your blocks, and come and lie down with the outer edges of your feet square, and just relax for a moment your lower back into the floor. Keeping your knees bent, your outer edges of your feet square, your feet hip distance apart. And then turn your palms of your hands down. And now you've decided what option you're taking. You're going to lift your pelvis up from the middle buttocks. Lift your pelvis up as high as you can. And then take either your two blocks together under your sacrum, the tailbone side of the sacrum, or you're going to take one block or two blocks crosswise. So just take whatever variation works for your body. And once you've stabilized your blocks, then tuck your middle edges of your shoulder blades in and externally rotate your upper arms so that the thumb side of your hand rolls down towards the earth and your palms are facing upward. Release the tops of your shoulders down your back, away from your neck. Let your upper buttock area draw in the direction of your heels. Keep rooting into the big toe sides of your feet and let the inner groins roll back, which in this position means down to the floor and out to the side. So there's a spreading of the buttock area down and out. And now just enjoying that inner space. Pay attention to how you're breathing and see if you can allow your breath to become slightly more spacious simply by honoring the turnaround points of your breath, so that you feel at the end of an exhalation, you take like a 1 or 2 second pause and just honor that the breath is going to change into the inhalation. And the same when you come to the top of your inhalation, just taking a 1 or 2 second pause, honoring that now your inhalation is going to turn into your exhalation. And it's really in these silent spaces in between the breaths where the mind also becomes silent. And just very simply focusing on the breath allows the mind to become silent. Because it's impossible to focus on the breath and to think of something else simultaneously. So notice when you lose the connection to your breath, and then you just very, very gently redirect your attention back to feeling the spaciousness of that life force flowing and moving inside you. Turn your palms of your hands down. And now, first of all, we're going to activate the spine. So press your hands down, lift your middle buttocks up and lift off your support and hold your body up away from your support. Hold it there. Then turn your block so that you just have one block crosswise underneath your sacral area and lower down on the lowest height of one block, and let your buttocks land there. And just again come back to your breath. Feel the subtle shift that happens in the breath just by changing from a higher height to a lower height. For a moment, just visualize what you feel is most important for you in your life right now. What is it that really matters to you? As I said in the beginning, when we faced with our own mortality, or we faced with the mortality of our loved ones, it puts everything into perspective. And so just to feel, what is your essential? What is it that you need in your life to sustain your soul path? And just feeling into that, viscerally feeling into it, so that your whole body resonates with that feeling. Now, once again, turn the palms of your hands down to the earth. From your middle buttock area, lift your pelvis dynamically up and keep it up, hold it up. So you activate your spinal muscles, once again, coming from that passive posture into an active one, and hold it up. And then use one of your hands to move your block, and as slowly as you can, from the top of your spine to the bottom of your spine, lie your body down. Go as slow as you can. And just stay with your knees bent for the moment. Let your lower back land into the earth. And then when you feel ready, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself one big loving hug. And then reach one of your arms up beside your ear and roll your body to the side and come up to seated for a moment. So we're going to set up for Shavasana. And some of you have 2 blankets, some of you have 3. So you can decide how you want to set this up. But the most important part of this Shavasana today is that you've got one blanket folded in such a way that you're going to take this one blanket and use it as a giant eye pillow, okay, to bring it over the forehead and over your eyes, but your nose and your mouth is free, okay? So this is the most important part, so that you've got weight to rest your forehead down. If you feel any sensitivity in your lower back, you're going to take your blocks or a bolster and bring it behind the backs of your thighs so that you've got a little pelvic tilt here. Your second blanket can either be for underneath your head, or if it's cooler where you are, you can take your second blanket over your body. But the most important is that you have one blanket that you can use as a big eye pillow when you come to lie yourself down. And lie yourself down in a way that allows your body to spread, that there's space in your lower back, there's space in your shoulder area. and that you can really release completely when you lie yourself down. Make space in your neck by releasing your head. Make space in your shoulders by drawing your shoulders down. Make space in your lower back by releasing your upper buttocks to your heels. And let the arms roll from the inside out. Let your legs roll from the inside out. So there's a feeling of releasing and relaxing from the center outward to the periphery. And allowing your exhale breath to take you into a space of deeper surrender, deeper integration of that vision of what's really important to you in your life right now. Allow your breath to become slightly fuller and deeper once again. Just feeling that space inside you as you breathe. And then bend your elbows and bring your hands either to your abdomen or to your chest. Bend your knees to step your feet onto the earth. And then reach your right arm up beside your right ear and roll your body onto your right side. Draw your knees towards your chest. Let your right cheek rest on your upper arm. So the reason why we always roll to the right side at the end is so that the left nostril is open, the Ida Nadi, which puts us into the parasympathetic nervous system, that part of the nervous system that keeps us calm. And now press both your hands down and come up to sit with your head last in whatever position feels comfortable to you. Palms of your hands together at your heart. Lift your spine, soften your eyes to your heart. And just take a moment to really honor that spaciousness that you've created inside you, to feel that your vision of what is most important to you can come into that space that you've created inside your body, inside your mind, inside your breath. And namaste. Thank you all for your awesomeness. Have a wonderful rest of your day.